On the future of England captain Harry Kane later on this news hour. Well, we have some breaking news now. Israel's military says it stopped an attempt to damage the northern border fence with Lebanon. The Reuters news agency is reporting that several members of the Hezbollah armed group were wounded. The Israeli army says a non-lethal force was used to keep them at bay. Well, for more on this, let's bring in Imran Khan. He's on the line for us from occupied East Jerusalem. Imran, I know this has all just happened in the last few hours. What more do we know at this stage?
Well, I can tell you that the Israeli army isn't confirming that this is Hezbollah. In fact, what they've actually said is a number of suspects approached the security border fence from Lebanon, from the Lebanese side, and that they tried to attack that border. The military force monitored them, and as you say, it used what they say is non-lethal force to expel them, probably likely to be tear gas or something around that. That's when they say that the identity of the people is unknown. And that's actually quite crucial because this is a very tense border, and a wrong accusation, a false accusation could spark things. Now, the army confirmed that they are going to still do carry on their work there in defense of the sovereignty of Israel. But that's not something that Hezbollah actually agree with. There have been tension along this border. In the start of July, Israel actually put up concrete walls around the Lebanese half of the city there on the border called Jazeera. Now, that's a city Israel has been occupying since the end of the 2006 war. In April, there were at least 30 rockets fired from southern Lebanon into northern Israel. We thought at that stage that Israel would react. It did, but not perhaps in the way that we thought it might. Actually just hit empty field. Then last week, there was a mortar attack from that area into Israel. It was just one mortar that fell. Israeli security sources here have been suggesting that it was a Palestinian group and not Hezbollah that were responsible for that, but no group has taken official responsibility. So this idea that it could be Hezbollah, it could be another group, is something that Israel takes incredibly seriously, because right now, if there's an attack on Hezbollah, then Hamas will react out of Gaza, and the Syrian groups will react out of Syria as well, because all three of those groups see an attack on one as an attack on all of them, and they'll all react. And Israel really doesn't want that kind of level of warfare. Its generals have long said publicly that they're looking to contain tensions on that border. Now, in the past, say, 6 months, we have seen tensions slightly increase on that border, but it seems to be a very managed response and counter-response from both that side of the border, the Lebanese side of the border, and the Israeli side of the border.
Still a very sensitive situation. Imran Khan there with the latest for us from occupied East Jerusalem. Well, let's now bring in Zaina Khora. She joins us on the line too, but from the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Zaina, Imran was just saying there that these men haven't been identified. What are you hearing there from the Lebanese side?
Yes, the Israeli army not confirming it's Hezbollah, but a Hezbollah spokesperson is being quoted by the local media as saying that, in fact, these were Hezbollah members, 3 Hezbollah members wounded in an incident. So the Hezbollah spokesperson, who was quoted by the local media, saying the circumstances are still not clear. So not saying that this was an attack. Now, the Israeli army is saying that there was an attempt to sabotage or thwart the fence that divides these two countries. Really, there has been a lot of tension, and this is what Imran has been, was talking about. But today, the timing is quite significant because Lebanon, and in particular Hezbollah, commemorates the 17th anniversary of the last war, the last major war it fought with Israel in 2006. And there were, what we understand, there were activists along the border. Some of them were demonstrating, and others even, there were reports that others even set a fire. So clearly both sides have been provoking each other in recent weeks. We saw Hezbollah set up outposts in disputed territory because this border is still not internationally recognized. There's still disputed areas along this border. We've seen Israel set up a fence around an area claimed by Lebanon. So both sides really provoking each other. Now, neither wants war. This has been clear for some time now because of the way that they react to certain incidents. But what is interesting is that there's now talk about the possibility of demarcating the border, the land border between the two countries. There are reports that an American mediator is expected in Beirut and to start discussing this issue with officials here. So this incident is unlikely to lead to a flare-up or some sort of confrontation. They're sending messages to each other. They're provoking each other. They're seeing how far each other, how far they can push each other for the time being against the backdrop of the possibility of negotiations.
Zainab Khadr there with the latest for us from the Lebanese capital, Beirut. We'll be getting you more details as we get them here on Al Jazeera. Now, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has visited Jenin for the first time in more than 10 years. This comes days after